Hey guys, I'm here at the Sky High Chalet, which is one of my vacation rental properties that I own. And I thought I would give you a tour of the whole place. Before I do though, I want to tell you a story. And it's kind of how I ended up with this place and how I ended up with owning multiple rentals and vacation rentals and everything else. And it's all because of one thing that I did when I was 22 years old. And it was buy my first house. I'm sure some of you know the story, but I'd been selling real estate at that point for a couple years, and it really opened me up to all sorts of people and lifestyles and occupations I had never been exposed to before that. You know, I grew up originally in South Jersey, and then we moved up here when I was 13 years old, and at that point, my mom and dad used to always joke and say we were the poorest flatlanders that ever moved to Tioga County because we packed everything up, our lives, they quit their jobs, all to move here to a 70-acre farm with a barn, with a porta potty, and we lived in a camper while they redid that. That is not the story I'm gonna tell you though, but I just wanted to show you kind of where I came from because most of you just know me as Chris, broker of Mountain Valley, and don't really know the backstory of it. So anyhow, 22 years old, have been selling real estate for 2 years, and the thing that kept coming up again and again and again with everybody I came in contact with were there was two types of people. There were the ones who wished that they would have invested in real estate when the prices were low and they were younger, and there were the second type of people, which were the ones who actually did. And, they were pretty well off. Some of them had multiple properties, multiple businesses, and, didn't have to live paycheck to paycheck and kill themselves. Growing up, like I said, we didn't have money. There was even a time, which most of you really don't know this, that in high school, my sister and I even had free lunch because of my parents' income. But anyway, not saying any of that to make anybody feel sorry for anybody, because it was all good, and it was all I learned from everything. But basically, as a 22-year-old, I was tired of living at home with my parents, and I was ready to try and find a place for myself. And I always wanted to have a big old Victorian house, and I came across one when I was showing it to a client. It was like $78,000 at the time, needed a ton of work, but I saw a ton of potential, and I just felt like it was supposed to be mine. And, I was gonna do it no matter what anybody's opinion was. I can remember taking my dad through, wanting his blessing, and after he looked through the entire place, he literally told me, if you buy this, you're an idiot. You don't know how to fix anything yourself. You're an idiot. It's the dumbest thing you could do. And, I did it anyway. And I don't know if he'll ever see this video or not, but there's been different times where my dad has had different opinions than me, but I have taken it as a motivating factor. Anyhow, so I bought my first house, paid $68,500 for it, and I was so excited. Everybody has this great grand dream. You're gonna move in happily ever after. And it wasn't easy. Home ownership, you never know what to expect. There's gonna be times where the heat goes out, or your hot water heater dies, or whatever. And I was so proud of myself because I was a young female, but also because I took a chance. And that first winter, I kept it 58 degrees in my house. It was so cold in there that I didn't even have mice, and the wind would blow through my electrical outlets. And my heating bill was more than my mortgage payment. But over time, after a lot of hard work and putting blood, sweat, and tears into that place, I owned it for 3 years. I put every extra penny I had into it. And the cool thing about real estate is, you build equity over time, as long as, you keep it either long enough, you pay your bills, or even for investment properties, you have other people renting it that's paying the mortgage. So basically, that was the one thing I did. I took a chance. I did it young and early. And so I just wanted to put that out there. You know, we're in a historic time right now with all this virus stuff happening, and the interest rates are probably the lowest that they have ever been. You know, this past year they went up a little bit, but they've dropped down so low. And I know there are people out there who have temporarily lost their job or may even have lost their job, but I just wanted to kind of offer a little advice from my experience. And, you know, if you are in a position where you are curious about buying or think that you may, you know, now is the time. If it's even a thought in your mind, because they're probably never going to be this low ever again. And I'm sure, you know, everybody's going to want a fresh start. And, you know, the sooner you do it, the sooner you start building equity. And, you know, it may not be a forever home. I kept that house for about 3 years and decided at that point that I wanted to upsize and move out into the country. So I ended up selling it and reinvesting my equity, which was really cool because over the course of 3 years, I had gained over $30,000 in equity, which allowed me to buy my next house. Fate would have it, I met my husband right around that same time, so I didn't live there very long. We got married, and shortly thereafter, Jackson came along. And I kept that property because, one, I wanted to protect myself as a backup plan, but two, you know, I didn't have to sell it if I could have somebody to pay for it and build that equity for me. And it's a long story, but, you know, if you have any questions or want to know what your options are, give us a call, 570-723-8484 at Mountain Valley Realty. One of my wonderful agents would love to help you and coach you. There are options out there. You know, there are mortgages right now, especially for new buyers that may have little to no down payment. So you literally can end with a seller's assist. You potentially, depending on your credit and your income and your job history, there are potential opportunities to literally buy a property with little to no money out of your pocket. And they could explain all of that to you. I've done it. I just sold a property of my own that I didn't put a penny out of my pocket to buy it. I just sold it, and now I'm reinvesting that equity into another house with no money out of my pocket. So we'd love to help you. We would love to help you along the way, recommend great lenders. Doesn't matter if you're old or you're a little more mature. There's no time like the present. And because of these interest rates. You know, back when I bought my house, 5% was a good interest rate. Now you can get them for the mid to low threes, which is crazy. So much cheaper than renting. And if you don't qualify now, you can always build up your credit and have a plan and have somebody walk you through that. So whether it's you or you know of somebody thinking about it and they don't know the next steps, have them give us a call. Like I said, it's 723-8484, or our website is mvrwellsboro.com. Okay, so now for the grand tour of the Sky High Chalet. You know, my whole point of bringing up that story of buying property was, you know, those little things that I did early on is literally how we've been able to get multiple investment properties, vacation rentals, whatever. Jeremy, that was not in his background. And like I said, that was nothing I'd ever been exposed to before until I got into real estate myself. I grew up literally on my hands and knees helping my mom landscape around fancy townhouses outside of Atlantic City, and not wanting to, you know, have my kids someday doing that. So I wanted, from the time I could buy real estate, I wanted to make use of every moment that I had to try and be smart and strategic, and there's no time like the present. So without further ado, I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to give you a tour, if I can figure out how to turn this thing around, of the Sky High Chalet. Okay, so bear with me. I'm not used to using this thing. Danielle, if you're watching, I'm sure that you're going to laugh at me trying to do this. So, Sky High Chalet. Last year, we sold one of our rental properties, and decided when a property was coming up nearby our house to buy it. Again, creative financing goes a long way. I did not have the money out of my pocket to do this without a little creative financing. So we bought this house, turned it into a vacation rental. I even got my antler chandelier and have been doing very good with it. I love it. It's a fun little side hustle that I have. But anyhow, so chalet, it's actually a modular home. And when we bought it, it had been sitting vacant for about a year. My husband spent every waking hour that he wasn't at the car wash last year here. He built an 800 square foot deck and kind of did little odds and ends here. Have my Heather Me Canyon picture up on the wall there. So we have a big family room. It has $1 million view. You can't really see it because of the screen, but we'll walk out here for a minute. Okay. The view. I know you've probably seen some of my videos, but if you look way down there, you can see the houses on Mead Street. You can see Nessmuk Lake. I just love it up here. And we have a little hot tub over here. If you're curious to check it out or to come up and stay here, I do have a website for it. It's skyhighchalet.com. So we got a little propane wood stove over there. Some of my favorite things, my antlers that we found all over our property. One of the things we did in here was the countertops. It was a nightmare, the whole story with it. I definitely will shop elsewhere next time. Got our little Lysol to kill any germs in between. We got the master suite back here. Closet. I have not stayed up here yet, and I cannot believe that. We got a picture on the wall that has now been in 3 or 4 houses of mine now. That started with me on Pearl Street, moved to Middlebury to our house, and then I recycled it and put it up here. Okay, let's keep on going. That's the fun thing that I love about doing these is I can declutter my house every time I furnish one. Not that my house isn't clutter-free by any means. I have a lot to still get rid of. So this deck out here was the brand new, was never there. There was a door to nowhere here. So last year, Jeremy from the ground up built it and then redid the other side also. So this is my favorite shot in here. Every time I come here, I'm like, why don't I live here? I just love the tall ceilings. And then it's actually 3 levels. We can sleep 10 people. One of Jeremy's big bucks from a long time ago. I think he shot that in 2000. So upstairs, we have another bedroom. And we do have a full bath up here. And then downstairs, I'll take you downstairs and then we can end the grand tour. Hey Jen, you probably saw me drive up here. So the cool thing that I love about vacation rentals is if there's nobody here, I can sneak away. So I was able to sneak away here and work for a couple hours. And sometimes we can sneak up here and get in the hot tub and check on it and then also use it since we don't have one at our own house. Okay, so this was undone when we got it. Jeremy put that together, had been started. I love that. I would love that in my own house. So we have our foyer here. And straight ahead is a dry sink that my dad made when I was probably 14 or 15 years old. This room was unfinished also, so we did this year. Another one of Jeremy's deer. And I love this room. Got 2 sofa beds down here, so you can sleep the kids or whoever. I had a lot of fun decorating this place for sure. And then the cool dry sink. And then down here, I didn't turn lights on, but we have another bedroom and more antlers and another bathroom. Like I said, if you know of anybody that wants to stay up here, or if you want to have a girls' weekend or something, you can go to skyhighchalet.com, or you can recommend it to people. We're thankfully pretty booked. We had some cancellations during all the virus stuff, and of course we had to cancel them for the interim until the governor opened everything back up. But back to my original story. Now's the time to buy or think about buying. And if you know of somebody that's a first-time home buyer, suggest that they just give us a call. Even if they don't call us, don't wait. You know, if I didn't start buying real estate when I was 22 years old, I would not be in the position that I am to be able to build equity. You know, I'm not rich by any means. I got a ton of debt, but you got to start somewhere, and it really opens up your doors to a lot of other things. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, give us a call at the office, 570-723-8484. And like I said, always online, mvrwellsboro.com. And if you want us to find you a property like this, we would love to do that too. Thanks, guys.